A little bit more about you all's group.
This is OLA, Old Lady Adventurers. We're a group of old ladies who love life, who are retired, have lots of time, and love to explore things around York and Lancaster. We have a lot of curiosity, and more than anything, we like to celebrate. So we'll look for anything to celebrate, and what could be better to celebrate than this?
Exactly. So when you first heard more about this eclipse, what really drew you all out here? What was the attraction?
Just seeing it. We're not going to be around for the next one.
I mean, you never know. You never know. But I can join the group, right?
Yes, you can join the group. You can be our token young man.
Yeah, I will be the designated driver. Awesome. So as you can see, people, they're just out here. They are enjoying the sights. Kids are out here. A lot of people are out here. Kids are playing on the playground, away from technology, away from devices, just taking in the sights. We can already feel a temperature change actually going on. And it's actually getting a little darker, so we're going to go ahead and throw it back to you all. For now, we're live here in York. TJ Anthony, CBS 21 News. Back to you.
Old Lady Adventures?
That's the best. You were so part of that group.
I am so part of that group.
Ola, that's what they called them.
They look for anything to celebrate? They eat cookies? I want to go.
She had the sun chips. She had Eclipse.
Yep.
I mean, she was
It was
set.
amazing.
All right, coming up here on Peak at 3:20. So some schools have let out early today because of the eclipse. Others using it as a teaching opportunity. So Elise Person is live at Milton Hershey School with how they're using today for education. Give us the scoop there.
Oh my gosh, today has been so exciting already. There's a group of kids that way that are having a blast. I can hear the screams. But behind me here we have some third graders who are super excited about the eclipse. I'm gonna bring you over this way to Faith. So Miss Faith, could you do me a favor and put those shades on and tell me what you see? So unfortunately it's a little cloudy right now. I asked Tom if he could make the clouds go away from my hip, but don't know if that happened. But so Miss Faith, tell me what you see. Do you see the sun right now?
No.
No, it's behind the clouds. But so why don't you tell me a little bit about what you've been learning about the eclipse? I know you guys have been doing so many lessons about the eclipse. Tell me a little about that. What have you learned? What is an eclipse?
An eclipse is when the moon gets in front of the sun, and behind the sun you can see the corona with the sun.
We're talking key terms here. Corona, like this is no basic talk about the eclipse, right? Like you know your stuff, girl. Oh yeah, so tell me, why do you have to wear these glasses? What do you know about that?
Because the sun's heat, it will get very hot, and when it gets very hot and you look at it by itself, you will go blind.
Right, and we don't want that right now, right? So you've been learning about this all day. You know, it's very exciting. Tell me, how cool is it though to be outside and literally see what you're learning in the classroom?
Super cool.
I bet. Tell me though, why is it super cool?
Because this is the first time I saw in solar eclipse, because the next time I will see it is never, because I'll be dead. Probably.
Oh, I mean, I hope not.
But
You're right. This is super, super rare. I mean, some people will go their whole life and never see one of these things. So tell me, how cool is it to be able to see something that you would never see?
super cool.
Super cool. Okay, so I think the clouds are going away. Thanks, Tom. So put these sunglasses back on and let's look together. Oh my gosh, I can see it now. Tell me what you see in the sky.
I see a little bit of the sun, and it was glowing. It's like glowing, and I see like a tiny piece of the sun, but the rest of the moon is covering it.
Right. I mean, that's an eclipse for you. So, guys, I'm going to send it back to you. Me and Miss Faith are having a fabulous time looking at the eclipse, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. I'm emotional because like that little girl's experiencing this for the first time.
Cute. So cute. Great job, Elise. All right, glad we could clear it out for her. This is Indianapolis. Now remember, Indianapolis is in the path of totality, so we're just starting to come out of totality. So remember, it only lasts about 4 minutes or so, and this is a very unique experience because you can see, how dark it is, and that rare glimpse of the corona, that outer part, which is gases coming off the sun. So it's kind of a fascinating shot in here, and it's so rare, so unique. You can see why people want to travel to totality.
Can I ask you again what you think Ed Russo will see in Erie then?
So as long as it clears, this is what he'll see.
He'll see it this dramatically.
Well. And it's coming up, yeah, in about 10 minutes or so.
Wow.
For him. And that's why it is so dramatic, because the temperature drops. He did a couple stories about how the animals react because they think it's nighttime. So look at that. Look how dark it is.
Oh my goodness.
So it doesn't last long, but it is. That's Indianapolis. I know it's a little hard to see, but these are folks trying to enjoy the eclipse, and it is amazing.
You brought up a great point about animals acting differently, so we want to focus on that right now.
See, they're coming out. See that? Coming out of totality there. Yeah.
Wow, you may notice changes during the eclipse with your animals. So Hallie Jacobs at Speranza Animal Rescue in Cumberland County bringing us that side of the story tonight. Hi, Hallie.
Hi.
Hey Jasmine, hey Tom. So yes, I'm here with a vet from Speranza as well. So can you kind of tell us, it's getting a little bit darker now. I can kind of see the shadows coming in. What might happen to, I see we have a lot of horses out here. What might happen to them?
So they're not going to hurt their eyes because they're not motivated to look up at the sun like we are. They don't really realize that there's an eclipse going on. Really, the only things they've noticed in animals is because it's getting darker at an earlier time. It feels to them like nighttime, but it's obviously not nighttime, so they may start to go into their evening routines, start looking for food if they're fed then. Birds sometimes start to wind down, songbirds, and kind of go into their nightly routines if they're diurnal, so active during the day and not at night, even though it's not actually nighttime.
Very interesting. So have you noticed any animals so far? I know it's not quite dark yet, but have you noticed anybody maybe getting a little bit anxious? Because I also read that in an article that sometimes they can get a little anxious during this time. Have you noticed any abnormal behavior or bedtime behavior, I guess?
I can answer for the pigs. You can see that the pigs are coming out now because it's getting close, probably what they think, to their feeding time. We don't normally feed around this time. It's a little later, probably after 4-ish. So you can see they're all kind of getting ready now. Whether that has anything to do with this, I don't know. But it is something a little different for them. Leroy's playing. Yeah. Our turkey is patrolling, so if there's any effects from the eclipse, I think he'll take care of everybody in that pasture. They'll be fine. So, yeah, that's the only thing I see right now.
Yeah.
We're doing anything.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty relaxed.
Well, that's good to hear from them. Is there anything as far as like household pets? I don't know if any of you are able to speak on that, but I turned down the shades for my cat just in case she decides she wants to take a little peek. But I felt like the eclipse was coming because she was napping next to me this morning before I had to go into work, and I was like, oh, do I really have to leave? I want to watch the eclipse with her. But it's been really cool over here. I mean, the horses, yeah, they're pretty chill.
Yeah, they're playing a little bit, and that group over there is eating, which is very on brand for those two. And
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that's cool.
See it getting a little darker.
I know it is. So it's going to be interesting as we kind of progress along to see if there is any differences. So we'll come back a little bit later, check in with some of the cute little animals over here and see how they're doing. But for now, I'll send it back over to you guys in the studio.
Hallie, and this is a learning experience for Speranza, for you, for all of us. We don't know exactly how dramatic it will be right in Mechanicsburg, right? Like with these horses.
Exactly. So are you noticing any difference? Like, has behavior changed a little bit? I know you were showing us some of the animals. How about for you looking up? Does it feel weird to you?
Or temperature.
Yeah, temp.
Does it feel weird to us? Let's see. I mean, I might be a little more tired than normal. I think it's bedtime for me right now. So I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, the weather's pretty nice.
A little chilly now that the sun's being covered, and
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Well, Hallie, we'll
Eerie
check
light,
back in with you.
Yeah, I would definitely say a little eerie.
Yeah. Well. Yep, and we'll check in with you and pay attention to that climate, and if it gets a little chillier, we're looking for that as well.
This makes me hungry for Thanksgiving.
Okay, that was wrong. He's patrolling. Did you really hear he was patrolling for people like you?
You're right. All right, hitting peak now in Ohio, so they're headed toward totality. We just showed you Indianapolis. They're coming out of totality, and now we take you to Ohio, and look how dark it is there.
Oh,
that's
my
amazing.
Goodness. Are people laying down there?
Oh, yeah.
They are laying down and getting comfortable. Wow,
I love how people have just turned this into an event. And look at that, they're enjoying it with their kids and families. But yeah, I get so amazed at how dark it gets in totality.
Yeah, and we were talking about how Ed Russo was so excited to go to Erie and what he'll experience. And if you check on his Facebook page, he is flying a drone. He has a selfie stick with his cell phone. He has a little GoPro on his head.
On his head, like on a helmet, right?
But because so many people are in one area, a lot of these areas are having a lot of signaling problems with their phones.
Right, so it has nothing to do with the eclipse. It's just everybody's in one place. Everybody's on their phone trying to send stuff and grab stuff. So great shot here of peak totality in Ohio and folks trying to get the experience there. But I think this is one of those cool events where we all take it in together. You know, so much of our society is kind of, you know, you're doing your own thing, and this is where everybody comes together and is experiencing one thing together. So we have camera. Can we take you outside too? The partial eclipse hitting peak, getting close to peak. Matter of fact, if you want to show the graphic real quick, I have the graphic loaded. What it's looking like here
at this 3:15 hour.
Yeah. So 3:21 is actually the peak where we're getting just about there. So yeah. So we're at what we call 92% totality. So if you've looked through your glasses this afternoon, you've already started to see the partial. You see this part, and this is what it's going to be here in about 5 or 6 minutes. So that's what we mean when we say 92% totality, and then it'll continue to move on. So you're still going to have a chance to see that crossing of the sun through about 4:30. But we were out in the parking lot before this, and it was pretty amazing. All right, heading to Cleveland, Ohio for totality there, and look at that.
Tom! Wow!
Okay, now Jasmine, look in the bottom right of the moon. Do you see that little
what
flare?
is that, Tom?
So that's a solar flare. We hear about those, and that's what causes the aurora borealis that we see on Earth sometimes.
It's like when we draw as children the sun, right?
With the flares coming out.
Yes. Right. And look up at the top a little bit to the right now.
Oh yeah, you can see a little bit there as well.
Okay, and you just put on your glasses?
I was told to put on my glasses for some reason, but now
there you go.
I can't even see you.
No, of course not. Of course not. But it's so great that we can show everyone as it's literally happening live, the path of totality. So we've been all around, and again, Cleveland, Ohio is where it is right now.
Oh, look at that. You can see the flares really good. Now, like you said, both on the right, one on the kind of the 2 o'clock position and one on the 4 o'clock
So what, is that
position.
something that's always there, but now we can see them?
Exactly. So that's what makes this so unique is you can't usually see that, and you wouldn't want to look at the sun to see this. But with the moon in the way, look at that. It perfectly rings the sun. Isn't that amazing?
It is absolutely amazing. We were showing everyone earlier. Now, again, this is a 4-minute thing no matter where you are.
Correct.
So if we keep on this hypothetically for 4 minutes, we'll see it move
away. Yeah, maybe we can cut back to that at some
Yeah,
point.
we'd love to cut back to that because that was a really cool thing to see as well.
Coming out of the totality. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But we were going to TJ Anthony because people are having watch parties with all the themed parties, but we got to experience a little girl watching this with Elise Person.
At Milton Hershey School.
Yes.
So let's see if she's enjoying this now. Elise, tell me you still have some clear skies there, please.
Oh, Tom, I have terrible news for you. It's still cloudy out here, but I have better news. We're now joined by a new friend, Caden. Caden has been learning about the eclipse all day long. So tell me, what grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade.
3rd grade. So that's where we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of the eclipse. I've heard the word corona thrown around a few times. Do you know what the corona is?
It's the outer part of the sun.
Bingo! Are you smarter than a 3rd grader? That was awesome. So this is so exciting. Do you know how rare this is to see one of these eclipses?
Yes, it's very rare.
Is it so exciting to see something that not many will ever see in their lifetime?
Yes.
Why is it exciting?
Because you get the experience of it.
And so what's so cool is I saw you guys in the classroom learning a little bit about this eclipse. What is it like to learn about it inside, come outside, throw on a very, might I add, chic pair of sunglasses and actually see the thing yourself?
It's really exciting.
It's really exciting. And tell me, why is it so exciting? We're here with all your classmates. What makes it so exciting?
You actually get to see it happen right after you learned about it.
And do you feel like that helps you learn about it even better?
Yes.
And why?
Because you know what's happening and it's kind of like a review.
It is like a review. It's like a real life test. And so I want to bring it over this way where we have Caden's science teacher. So she has been teaching the kiddos all day long, kindergarten through 4th grade, about this eclipse. So tell us, how do you teach kindergarten through 4th grade? What makes it different when you're talking to each age group?
So for kindergarten, we just really covered the basics: the Earth, the sun, the moon, what is happening. When we got to 3rd and 4th grade, we really dove into the vocabulary terms such as the corona, which they were able to see today and make that connection, which was it was just really cool as a teacher to watch them watch the light bulb click, for them to see what we've been talking about actually in real life.
Right. I mean, this has been so cool. When the kids came out, they immediately threw those shades on and they were super excited. Well, we're going to send it back to you guys. We're going to come back with Miss Science Teacher in just a little bit, but I'm going to send it back to you guys. I know we're going out to TJ, but this has been so exciting. I'm having so much fun, and I hope you guys are too.
That's great. You know, I think this is what the schools should be doing, you know, taking advantage of this, because this is a real-time lab is what it is.
So for my friend, she had to go pick up her kids early because they don't want to, you know, let them go when it was happening.
But at least they're getting a chance to experience
Absolutely,
this.
yeah.
All right, this is our camera. We put it on the roof, but the point here is that if you don't have that protection, this is all you see, because most of the time the light that we see in the atmosphere is just the outer part of the sun. So when we're able to take that away by looking through those special glasses, then you see how the sun actually seems tiny to us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yes. We have our whole crew except for Tom and I. Well, a lot of our crew are outside right now checking it out.
I wanted them to experience. Everybody was making fun of me earlier because you guys came out and didn't see anything. The clouds really make a huge difference.
Sure.
If there's cloud cover, you get nothing. But if you're patient, there's enough movement in those clouds.
Yep.
We can see outside of our studio here, and I think it looks a lot darker.
I agree.
I don't know if it's just the cloud cover or what.
I agree. We do want to send it back out to TJ now. TJ Anthony, he is having a blast because they're having a watch party in New York.
Jasmine, I have to say, this is the place to be. So right now we are by the observatory at the park. And the cool thing about this area is that they have different devices where you can actually see the eclipse happen in real time. Anything from digital to even a cardboard box. I mean, take a look at this cardboard box. You can see the eclipse happen. And I'm joined with someone from the York County Astronomical Society. Kind of explain what we're looking at right here.
It's a cardboard box used for projection. They have a lens which shoots down into a convex lens and projects up on the cardboard. Very simple, very safe.
So what's going on right now? What phase are we in? What do you see?
We're near our totality here. We have 92%. We're probably at about 90 right now.
90 right now. And then you said you also looked through another telescope. You actually saw something pretty interesting. Describe this picture, what we're looking at on this phone right now.
Our other scope has an H-alpha filter, and that way you can see the red in the sun. At the tip, the point of the sun, there's a flare coming off. It's called a prominence. Probably bigger than the size of the Earth.
Wow. So guys, as you can tell, there's a lot of knowledge around this area as well and around this park. I also want you to take a look at this digital device. This is really cool. This actually moves along with the eclipse and with what's going on. So how does this device transmit to our digital devices?
It's just wireless. Looking at it, tracks the sun, it finds it, tracks it, and projects on a tablet.
Wow. And guys, take a look at that tablet right there. As you can see, that is a really good view of what is going on right now. This is live imaging of the eclipse. Just take a look at that. Just take that in. As you can see, it's a reddish color. That's almost pretty much as like you're looking in your glasses as well. You saw in the cardboard box, it was a light color. It was white. Now this is a red color of what you're looking at right now. And come over here, take a walk with me over here so we can look at more iPads, more of what they have, more digital technology that they have. Take a look at these pictures that they have as well. These people, they came prepared. They came to teach people. They are here to really let people know what is going on and really give them an idea. So talk about what we're looking at right now.
Right now we're looking at the output from a smart telescope called the ZWO C-Star. And that telescope will start it up, you level it, and you tell it what you want it to look at. It'll go to it by itself, and it starts taking either pictures or video. And over a period of, say, an hour, you could take 100 pictures that are all combined. And when you combine these multiple pictures, you can see objects that are located 30 million light years from Earth, just like you're standing next to them.
And then it also moves, right?
Yes, it'll lock on to a star, or in this case, it's locked onto the sun. and the computer that's built into the device will actually detect the slightest amount of movement, and it'll move to stay locked on to that object. So if you're photographing, say, a galaxy 30 million light years away, it'll find a star in our galaxy between us and the other galaxy, and it'll track that star by making microscopic movements that you can't even detect.
Okay.
And so over a period of a couple hours, you can take hundreds of individual pictures that it combines internally, and it sends you dazzling finished images.
It's great to hear you have a lot of knowledge around here, so people, they can really come and learn. But for now, we'll toss it right back to you in the studio live in York. TJ Anthony, CBS 21 News, back to you.
All right, good stuff. Let's go to
They had every toy there. Did you see that?
Yes. Here's Oswego, New York.
Now, they've been fighting the cloud cover
I'll
here,
say.
so bear with us as we try to figure out exactly where.
It's right in the middle, and it totally disappeared.
And you can see it a little bit, but you feel bad for folks who traveled a long distance to get there. I had a viewer from here in Central PA email me yesterday. And she was saying, should we make the drive to Rochester? And I said, oh, there's a little bit. I said, probably not, because this is what you're going to experience for a long, long drive. So,
there's a bird.
We're just coming out of our peak totality. Remember, we peaked here at 321. We're now at 325 as we bring you our live coverage. But we have reporters all over. And one of the things we were watching were the animals. So Hallie is live at Speranza Animal Rescue. So here at peak, did you see any difference in those animals, Hallie? Any kind of unusual movement or change in behavior?
What do you think, guys? Did we see any unusual movement or behavior during the peak of the eclipse? Like anything significant?
Well, let's go back to the pigs. Yeah. So I was just looking out there, and there's some of them that are clumping together. I did notice with the horses, they were standing in one direction, looking this way. So you could better answer that. But I was just wondering if maybe that's not looking into the light. They're looking this way. We got a roller over here.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it seems like they're doing pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so adorable. I mean, maybe that's eclipse behavior. Maybe not.
Maybe. Yeah. He was pretty itchy earlier. So.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, but I think the animals were pretty chill here. What do you think?
Yeah, everybody was very relaxed. They're, if anything, just snoozing.
I wish I was the one snoozing. But yeah, we didn't notice anything too big or significant, just a lot of cuteness from the animals. Definitely the pigs. One of them came up, what was his name? Hamilton, he's a really big pig. He came right up to us. I don't know, maybe thinking there was some food around. We don't know.
Pretty sure.
But you were talking about the horse, that big one over there. What were you guys maybe waiting for him? Like, was he gonna maybe come up because he thought it was maybe feeding time? But we weren't sure if he was actually gonna do that.
I was thinking maybe she would come up to the gate, because normally that's what she does when it gets to be around a certain time. She'll wait here. But she didn't, but that could be because we've been standing here. Yeah. She is a little on the shyer side. So
Hallie, I have a question for you.
It looked like she was sleeping out there. Did you think so?
Yeah.
Like, kind of
Yeah.
All right, so Hallie, we know that the animals did not seem to act too much different. As far as you, did it get a little bit darker? Did it let it get a little bit cooler? What exactly did you see there in Cumberland County, if anything?
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit darker, Jasmine. Some shadows came in a little bit more. We were talking about that, but we were waiting for it to get pitch black. It didn't, but it was fun. Right. It was fun. We had a grand time. It was like a little shadow.
Alrighty.
A little shadow.
Thank you, guys. We'll come back to you in a little bit. So, Tom, I want to ask you about that. So, the path of totality.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, the path of totality. I mean, that's when you're going to probably see the animals really act a lot different, correct?
And that's why it's such a big deal. So, this kind of gives you basically what we saw as far as our peak. This is just minutes ago. This is looking at Maine, but Maine's coming up on their totality.
Okay.
So, we're not quite there yet, but that's what about 92, 93% would look like. And they're headed towards totality. So, that's why these shots are great. So, to answer your question, I think for the animals, even for the experience for us as humans, that totality is so dramatic. This is why people drive long distance to do that. When that sun is totally blocked out, it turns dark, the temperature drops. I just got a text from Ed Russo, who's in Erie. He said the temperature dropped 7 degrees.
Wow.
And the skies were still dimming. So it's dramatic, and that's when those animals react. So I didn't expect a whole lot of action from Speranza, but it's interesting the different species too that they were talking about. Some totally unfazed, others maybe feeling a difference.
Speaking of text messages, I got one from the babysitter. My 2 little girls have their little glasses out right now.
Oh, that's so cute.
And they're looking, and we're trying to explain, how do you explain this for parents watching to a kid, kind of what's going on in the easiest form?
Yeah, well, I think it's just, the sun is that disk and something's moving in front of it. But I think it's a pretty big concept for young kids to grasp, right? Because you're just learning about the universe. You're just learning about how we rotate around the sun and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting. So this will be something that with your kids, you can go back and go, oh, you guys lived through this eclipse.
Oh, very
All right, we want to go to Oswego, New York. Do we have that shot too?
We're going to Elise again.
Elise.
Elise, speaking of kids.
She's with the kids at Milton Hershey.
Yeah.
I love that the kids are just living out this science experiment. So Elise, where do we stand now? Tell me the clouds cleared a little bit.
Tom, it is clear as day out here.
Great.
Let me find my sunglasses and see what we're looking like. Because, I don't want to look up at the sun. Oh my gosh, not a cloud in the sky.
Oh, awesome.
She looks gorgeous.
This is why you have to be patient.
So pretty, but I'm...
it's been cloudy and back and forth.
Yeah, it's
so
very cool.
Your patience paid off, Elise. So describe it to us.
No, Tom, thank you. Well, it was actually really interesting because it did go pretty dark here for a little bit. It was a little cloudy, but we were all wondering, is this because of the eclipse? Is it because of the clouds? We, myself and the third graders, came to the general consensus that it was a little bit of both. So really, we have the expert here, though, not me and the third graders. It is Miss Heaster. We're talking a little bit about the eclipse. And Tom, you made a great point a little earlier. It's so hard sometimes for the little ones to really wrap their mind around what's happening. You spoke a little bit earlier about how you're able to teach the differences in the eclipse between kindergartners and fourth graders, and tell me how you're even able to visually help these kids understand that.
So for kindergarten, we really just focused on the basics. We focused on the sun, the moon, and the earth, and just the formation and the shadows. So in first grade and kindergarten, we talk about light and shadows. So it was a much more simple explanation. They made their own little mobile that showed the placement of the sun, the moon, and the earth during the eclipse. But then as we got to third and fourth grade, we kind of dug in a little deeper. We talked about the corona. We talked about why it's dangerous to look at the sun right now, and why we can see the corona versus why we can't normally see it. So it was just a much different approach, but all the same message, just how cool today really is for them.
Right, and let me tell you, the kids were totally understanding it. So as the clouds were moving back and forth, sometimes it would be a little cloudy, and then you'd get a little glimpse of the sun, and you would hear the eruption. Everybody put your glasses on, and everybody's looking at the sun. But so tell us, when it comes to learning, I mean, some of the kids even spoke about how cool it is to learn something in the classroom and come outside and really see it themselves. Can you speak a little bit to how that helps these kids really learn and absorb what's happening here today?
So in science, we really focus a lot on natural phenomena, what's happening right outside. And not often can we teach a lesson in the classroom and then minutes later come outside. So it's putting this practical knowledge to use, and they're seeing it right before them. So it's such an incredible experience. We're so fortunate to all have had these glasses purchased for us so that we could experience this, so they could really remember this moment, remember how special and unique this opportunity is, but then also have it locked in their memory.
Right, and I'll tell you, Miss Heaster, she is a great teacher. I was quizzing the kids live about what the corona is, all the stuff, and they knew exactly the answers. So props to you, an amazing teacher here at Milton Hershey School. But I'll send it back to you guys as we continue to just eat up how cool this rare eclipse is.
Great job, Elise, and thank her, because we love that she's passing on her knowledge to the little ones, and like she said, it'll be something they do remember. All right, I want to give you an idea of what the path of totality looks like. So you're wondering why we're moving to these different states. So it came up from Mexico, so first seen in Texas, then Arkansas, and now past PA, and now the next thing is Maine. So that's the upper right-hand part of your screen. So that's the path of totality, and ta-da, as we take you to Maine, there is totality. So once again, the moon is directly in front of the sun, and what you're witnessing is the corona, that outer rim part. That's basically gases coming off, and that's the light that we usually see. We never really see the disk that is the sun because it's so bright, Jasmine.
So what were those, again, things coming off the sun?
Oh, the solar flares.
The solar, why do we see them sometimes and sometimes we don't?
We rarely see them. You have to be in the eclipse part to do that. So we saw them on that one shot, was it from Indianapolis?
It was the coolest thing.
At about the 2 o'clock position, maybe the 4 o'clock, so we'll keep an eye out here. But they're constantly coming off the sun. And sometimes those solar flares or those, that energy can reach the earth, and that's what we see as the what do you call it? The Aurora Borealis.
That's what I was going to say, the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're going to say. The Northern Lights. So it is fascinating. That's why it's so unique in totality. It's a totally different experience, pardon the pun, that you can see all that stuff that you can normally never see around the fringe, around the outside of the sun. So this is a great shot.
What's your favorite part of all this? Before it goes on, as it comes off?
It was neat for me just to step out right when it started, because I came down to the newsroom and told you guys it's here, and they're like, what? It started? And I was just after what, 2 o'clock, 2:15?
Yeah.
So I think to me it's the duration of this thing, because everybody has a little bit different experience, yet we're all looking at the same thing over what, 2.5 hours. So I love the fact that it has different ideas.
So our Ed Russo is in Erie, and
Correct.
he texted you about the temperature.
Now this is still coming on. He said it dropped 7 degrees already, so I'm anxious to see what it ultimately drops, because that's why totality is such a big deal. The temperature drop, the total darkness really is impactful.
Let's go to TJ Anthony. He's live at a watch party outside. TJ, he's in York right now. What's going on there?
Yeah, true.
Jasmine, yeah, so families, they are still out here. Some people, they are packing up and leaving, but people are still out here enjoying the sight still. I want you all to take a look at this picture that someone from the York Astronomical Society, they took. They are in Cleveland. Take a look at that. That is what you will see if you are in the path of totality. Wow, just take a glimpse. Kind of describe what we're seeing.
Okay, well, basically, when you get totality, you start to see the corona that's around the sun. I'm not sure what else we've got in that picture. There are some other things you can see that aren't showing up too well in that picture. He probably has it in another one.
Yeah, and it's different than what we saw here. And I also want you all to meet my new friends over here. So this is a telescope that he bought, and he actually built this piece on the telescope. What did you all see? What did you all experience?
Well, it was really exciting to come out with the family and just be outside and do an activity that you can all do together. And what we got to see in the telescope, we actually got to see some sunspots on the sun, so that was really exciting. I mean, it clouded over a couple times here and there, but we did get to see from beginning to the end of it, so it was really exciting to see how the light changed around you. So that looked a little different. It also got very cold, so we did feel the difference.
Yes, I definitely felt the temperature difference myself. And what about you?
It was really neat. You could start to tease out features on the surface of the sun that I normally can't see, like swirls. And then if you looked at through this telescope, if you look at the edge of the moon, you could see the peaks and valleys actually in the shadow, the portrait of the moon. So it was a stunning sight to see. And I was just really impressed by how many people came out. Usually I'm the nerd, but today I get to be the hero.
Exactly. You get to tell us what's going on. Yeah. And then you said you'll be looking forward to the next one, right? What did you tell me your son right here will be doing?
Well, I'll be 80 years old, so he'll have to take me out there in a wheelchair or a walker. I don't care. I'm going to go see it again. Yeah.
Awesome. We love it. Let's head over here to meet my other friends. You decided to bring your daughters out here today. Talk about why you wanted them to see this.
Yeah, I just wanted them to get to experience something new, and it held their attention. It seemed worth getting them out of school for.
Yeah, and what do you think about this turnout?
I was really happy to see everybody out. We've come out for some stargazing events, and it hasn't been this crowded, so it was really encouraging to see.
And girls, I need to ask, what did you all think?
I liked it because it was the color of peaches.
Yeah, I love that. I actually love that description. And what about you?
I like that the moon almost covered the whole sun, and that it was something new to see.
Would you come out here and get again?
Yes.
And did you see her dancing in the back? You see people, they're just having a good time out here with their families. So this is definitely the place to be today. I'm glad I got a chance to come out here. But for now, live in York, TJ Anthony, CBS 21. Back to you all.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. All right, I want to show you one more time what we're watching. I believe this one is Maine. So they're headed towards totality. So this is kind of the last of the U.S. states that'll be in totality as it works its way across the globe. But I want to show you some of our producers. They've been writing about this, talking about this, but they finally got to go outside and see this. So, all right, give me some reaction. Kate, our producer, go ahead.
It was very bright if you didn't wear the glasses, but it was really special. We were trying to think of all the things it looked like. It looked like a banana, like a chip, like a Cheeto. But it was really cool. It was really special.
Well, awesome. I know that you guys literally, you are the people behind the scenes writing these shows that we produce. So in the end, knowing we're not going to be in the total path of totality, were you overwhelmed, underwhelmed here in Harrisburg?
You can be honest.
I was a little underwhelmed. I was expecting to see a ring. So when there was no ring, it just kind of looked like a banana. I thought it was,
That's totality. So you had to go a little bit further for that. How about you, Isaac?
Yeah, we were expecting like a total blackout, it seemed like, but it was we still had overcast and sunlight, so that was maybe
Well, we were talking earlier.
We're going to work on this for next time.
We were talking about earlier because, of course, we have resources for you. So coming up at 5, we're going to be able to show you how it looked all across the country. And we want to remind you that our own meteorologist, Ed Russo, is in Erie. And I told you before, if you're just joining us, he literally has his cell phone. He has his headpiece. He has
we didn't hear from Alexa. Don't wrap up. What'd you think?
Best day ever.
Wow. See, that's the endorsement I like.
I thought it was going to be darker, but I'm satisfied.
There you go.
It's a manifestation.
All right, these guys are going to get our shows ready here for 5 o'clock. We'd love to have you join us on CBS 21. Thank you for your reactions.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
Have a good night.
See you at 5.